From the age of 10, I auditioned for the Royal Ballet School and I didn't get in, but then it had sort of set lots of things in motion. And so the next year I went to Elmhurst and I was there for 4 years. And then I went to Central School of Ballet in London. But all the way through ballet school, again, I had this thing, and it was identified when I was studying later on, that I had this thing of wanting to be different. And so because I was at ballet school, I decided I didn't want to be a ballet dancer because that's what everyone else wanted to be. So I was like, oh, I want to be a contemporary dancer. And I really had that from quite a young age. I didn't really know what contemporary was, but I was like, that's what I'm going to do. And so I pushed that quite hard at Elmhurst. And then even though I went to Central, I knew already then I wanted to do contemporary. I just thought it was good to get a classical training. And from Central, I didn't really know how to find contemporary dance. Like I'd studied Cunningham and Graham and all that stuff, but I didn't really know how to find my route. So I went to New York. I just basically got on a plane and I went to New York because that's where I thought contemporary dance was. I wanted to go really abstract and, so I did all sorts of different like crazy projects linking up with visual artists, quite a lot of film work and a bit of modeling. I was just trying to make it work. I was trying to stay in New York. I loved New York. I loved the energy of it. And then my visa ran out. So I came back to London and I just started auditioning. And quite quickly I got a job in Germany at a Staatstheater. The productions that always really stand out in my mind were two that I did with the Royal Ballet. One was the Brandstrup Rojo project. It was just a really lovely process and it felt like for the Royal Ballet dancers, it was completely out of their normal element. So we were all creating steps together and we were all learning from each other. There was a huge amount of respect in the room. And getting to work alongside those artists, was really, really fun, but also working with them on a level where you're like, okay, we're gonna do this turned in thing today, or okay, I'm just gonna throw myself at you and see how you catch me. And they're kind of like, no, this is not like part of the technique, or whatever it was, they were really open to it. But we created this really, really nice company. And I feel like I learned a lot from them. So what I do now is I consult with organizations and governments, city governments, real estate developers, all sorts of people that have culture and creative industries as part of their remit. So whether it's a city government that wants to have a strategy for all of their different cultural assets, or it could be one organization that's looking to understand how they can increase their income generation so they can decrease their reliance on, for example, the Arts Council. So I work with those types of clients, doing things like looking at their finances, looking at their workforce, looking at the activities that they have and how they line up, and talking a lot to clients about the social impacts of culture. So it helps people to understand that they should, I want to put a theatre in this place because I've heard that that's a good thing, or I should do it, but what am I really going to get back from this? I'm not going to get a financial return from it, but what am I going to get? And in some cases you do get financial return. In other cases it's more about quality of life or community building or civic engagement. So I get to talk about those things quite a lot. And I do that at BOP Consulting, who we specialise in creative industries. When I was in business school, consulting is obviously one of the main end points of doing an MBA. And so I could have gone to work for one of the big consultancies, but I found BOP because they specialize in culture and the creative industries. And I thought, how perfect, to take everything that I knew before and then all of my learning in business. So that's what I do. I miss the music in my life. I mean, I need music now in my life, and I never used to. And I miss the people. I miss hugging everyone at the beginning of the day. And then I miss that hour where you literally rolled around on the floor with other people. When I'm with dance people now, I feel like I've come home again and I feel very relaxed. I've always known about DCD and loved the idea that they existed. That was really important. So I think it's really important that everybody knows that they exist from a really early age, even before you're thinking about transitioning. But they fit in because in the pandemic, I called them for some free coaching. So I think they were offering free coaching. So I had some free coaching, and the upshot of that coaching was quite illuminating, although it wasn't the answer that I wanted to hear. I wanted to be given permission to change careers. It was almost like I wanted them to say to me, it's okay, you did it, you did all the dancing, you can leave it now, and you won't feel like you've given up or it's a failure. And they didn't quite say that. They said, I think you like this. And I was like, okay. So that was different. But then I applied for a retraining grant. My MBA was very expensive. They're ridiculously expensive degrees. So I applied for a retraining grant. What was super helpful was having to go through the process of the application and having to write down exactly what I was doing and why to an audience that kind of knows me the best because they know dancers. So I applied for some other scholarships and different pots of money. And those were easier in a way. But the Dancers Career Development one was like, these guys know me. They know what I'm talking about when I say I've done all of these things and I'm really collaborative and I'm great at teamwork and I'm really adaptable. They know what that means because they know dancers. And so getting the money from them, going through the process of writing that down and then getting the money from them, it just felt like a massive stamp of approval. Like, if they think that I can do this and they know dancers, then maybe I can do this. So it felt like more than just the money. It felt like that was really important. There has been times where I would have changed a lot, but they were, I think now, I feel like I'm slightly coming out of the fog of career transition, which was much longer than I expected it to be. And so now I feel like I wouldn't change anything because I'm starting to feel like myself again. But there was a period of time in the middle of those 3-4 years where I felt like a completely different person to who I knew myself to be. And I was worried that I had made a decision that had sort of irrevocably changed me. So all the things I liked about myself, like my ability to laugh really easily, or the fact that I was quite casual, that I could perform, but I could take it quite lightly. I wasn't that anymore, and I hated that. And I thought, oh, I've done something really significant that I won't be able to reverse out of. But I think it was just hard. It is hard to change careers. Just the idea that DCD exists, for me, always felt like this is an organization that, I don't know, they're going to protect me. They're here to help me. They're going to support me in some way, you know. So without them, it would be possible, but it would be just the same as everything else, which is really hard and takes a lot of kind of your own, sort of lonely, and takes a lot of your own just impetus. And it's not that you don't need your own impetus and strength and courage to transition out of dancing. It's just that having somebody there with you that understands the whole process makes you feel supported. There's loads of transferable skills, and some of them weren't apparent in the beginning, but I think an enormous amount of stamina and determination, not quitting. Something that my bosses saw in me before I did was my ability to perform. So I will never go in front of a client and give up. Even if it gets really hard in front of the client, I will just continue performing. I'm on, and it's like I won't switch off until that client meeting is finished and we've gone backstage, wherever that is, we've gone, you know, we've left the room, we've left the building. So I think that's really important. Being adaptable, I think, is really important. And also being quite committed, I think. So taking things seriously and being committed to things. I think all dancers have that. All dancers have a huge amount of discipline. I never really knew what that meant, but now I know that when I'm staying up sometimes till 2 o'clock in the morning to, you know, finish a presentation for a client the next day, or I'm on a plane and I just want to be drinking the the Prosecco, but I'm doing the presentation. I think that's discipline, you know, it takes discipline to do that. So I'm kind of grateful for that. And I also think what I find quite easy in my job at the moment is I meet lots of different clients, and whether that's through business development or if it's actually just through my work, I meet clients all the time and different people. And because I was a freelancer for so long, I I'm fine with meeting new people, and I'm fine with getting quite close to them quite quickly. So, from the first meeting, I can feel like we know each other. It doesn't take me a long time to warm up to other people. My advice would be, when you're thinking about what you're going to do, be creative, continue to be creative, but also think about what you want to do, not necessarily what you want to be. So I think I am a dancer, but actually, what do you like about dancing? Do you love being in front of loads of people? Do you love making things with other people? Do you love physical touch? Do you love being upside down for 3 hours a day? What is it that you really like about dancing? Because you'll find that in other careers. So it's harder to say, I want to be a fire person or I want to be a nurse, but it's easier to kind of think, or it's better to think, I loved caring for younger dancers. I loved, bringing them through the company and seeing them flourish. Maybe I want to be a teacher of something, and then it could be anything. Yeah. And believe in yourself, because you can do anything.